Hey guys, I want to talk about a possible catalyst which could set Bitcoin up for the next bull run. Of course, we're doing this war with Ukraine right now, not us, Russia invading Ukraine, and that of course dumped the markets, also dumped the stock market. This has been going on for the last month. But what could actually cause the markets to actually pump? Not just the stock market, but also Bitcoin. What could basically set the precedent for Bitcoin to go into the next bull run? I think this could be it right here. Ukraine's government is willing to make big concessions to end the war. I think at this point it's pretty obvious. Ukraine, the war is taking a little bit longer on Russia's end. They probably thought they could conquer Ukraine pretty quickly. But this has been going on for a month. There's a ton of casualties. Ukraine is losing a ton of civilians, a ton of military. Russia is losing a ton of military. And I think at this point, they just want to come up to a conclusion. And it looks like they are in the midst of peace talks. Before when I heard about this a couple weeks ago, I thought it was just posturing for Russia because they just want to pretend that they were talking, but really they weren't expecting to come up with a peace deal. But I think because the war is taking a little bit longer than Putin thought, I think he's ready to make a deal with Ukraine. I think if Ukraine basically just says, hey, look, we're never going to join NATO. We'll never let the West into our country to set up weapons. We're not going to be a pro-West nation. I think that's really all Putin's looking for at this point. I think he just wants to end this thing. And I think if they do come up with a deal in the next couple of weeks, I think you're going to see a major, major catalyst that's going to basically propel the stock market and even more importantly, Bitcoin up to $60,000, $70,000 and back to all-time highs. I think that's a very good possibility. Now, we are in a bear market, and I really don't expect this bear market to end until the end of this year earliest. But with good news like this, if something like this comes out, Russia, Ukraine peace talks, we could see Bitcoin going back up to $60,000, $65,000 and hovering in that range, for the next year. We could hit $60,000, dump back down to 55, back up to 65, back down to 60, and do that basically in a range, get everybody bored. We're in the bear market. Oh, when's Bitcoin gonna come back up to all-time high and go over all-time high? Everybody gets bored, and then next year we go back into that bull market. But I think good news like this is something that could do it. And I think if this does happen, it's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. I just don't get the feeling this war in Ukraine is going to last much more than a couple of weeks. A lot of people think it's going to drag out for the next year or two. I don't. I mean, Russia's already lost 16,000 troops, they're saying. I mean, it's unsustainable. I'm reading stories of Russian troops starving, and they're basically just abandoning their posts because they don't want to be there anymore. And Ukraine's putting up a good fight, and we're shipping weapons to Ukraine. And, this could basically just drag out forever. And Putin knows it. Putin knows as long as we're shipping weapons over to Russia, they can pretty much fight for the next couple of years. And what's Putin going to do? Lose a couple hundred troops? I don't think so. So I think that we're going to have some sort of deal in the next couple of weeks. That could, if it happens, not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying if it does, that could be something that takes Bitcoin from $45,000 or $40,000 back up to 60. Now, if that happens, it doesn't mean we're in a bull market. It just means we're in a range, but it's definitely positive. And of course, if Bitcoin shoots back up to $60,000, $70,000, your Cardano is going to be back to $2, Matic $2, even XRP will be over $1. At that point, Solana might be back like $1 or $175, $150. Theta might be back up to $6, $5. So that could be very, very good for the market. And then we could just hover in that range. That's why always have skin in the game, folks. Anything can happen. We can dump at any moment, but good news can come out at any moment. Honestly, I could go to the bathroom right now, come out, open CNBC, and there's a deal between Russia and Ukraine. Before I can pull out my phone to buy more crypto, Bitcoin's already gone up 30%. That's how it happens, folks. That's why you always have to have skin in the game. You always have to have a hollow bag, and you have to be ready to go. So we'll see what happens. Have a good weekend.